Alright guys, so today is the day. Today we're going to start the process of taking this bad boy out for the dry sump conversion. So when I say the bad boy, I mean this M42B21 K24, you know the whole story. So I need to get busy with that. So what we got to do is we're going to get it on the lift, drain the oil and start disconnecting all the pieces so that we can get this bad boy out. To get it further back, gotta jack the back up to get this thing on the lift. It's so freaking low. So we're gonna drain the oil. The only real action this bad boy has seen is the dyno. And that one event where we were testing, where I had the oil surge. So let's see what she looks like. It's like soup. So while we wait for the oil to drain, just a reminder, I've restocked on these awesome hats. If you're keen on one, just let me know in the DM and I'll hook you up with one. The website is not working yet. We're busy revamping the website because there's a couple of cool new things, exciting things happening. So that's all going to get done in the near future. It's obviously all driven by funding. But yep, if you're interested, let me know. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys the link to my PayPal account and I'm going to put it in the description below, and we're going to kind of run a fundraising exercise, and everybody that submits sort of money towards this project will get their name put up on the inside of the bonnet, and you too can be a part of this dry sump conversion, which I think is a really cool idea, and it allows you guys, the viewers, to be a part of this build, and everybody's name will kind of go up onto the bonnet over there. So that's enough with the chit chat. Let's get into the episode. In this process, you know, I like to bag and tag everything, so got my trusty bags and we're just going to hit the ground running here. Right, let's try not make the world's biggest mess. Oh, of course. Fantastic. So we're still on the cooling system, so loosen the water bottle breather. This is the first things you do when taking an engine out. You have to always drain the oil, and then obviously you have to get rid of the water in the cooling system. So this is from the water bottle. We're just going to put that one side and then remove the radiator hose off of the thermostat housing. All the water has drained out, so we remove the other radiator hose, cut cable ties off of the oil line, so that's good. That we can resolve, that's fine. All of these lines are going to change now. We're going to go to AN10 lines, just for the higher volume in the oil system. 1 times radiator line off. Okay, we can get rid of the bleed line. It goes to the bottle. On a race car you have to keep replacing these because they fatigue from the extreme heat under bonnet temperatures, and that's why turbo cars are so fickle, turbo race cars, because they have extreme under bonnet temperatures, and if that heat is not well managed, it just causes failures on everything. Alright, disconnect the fan and we can take the radiator out. with its shrouding. Okay. I don't know if it's in zoom, but I'm going to decant the radiator. Alright, let's put the drain plug back in. Move the oil. If you want to see some more of this kind of content, please consider subscribing. Just click on the subscribe button, hit the bell, and you're good to go. The oil is a really dark color. You can see this little white spot, that's where it was dripping down from the sump. So this could be because of the ethanol content. You know, when you run ethanol in an engine, it is you have to drain the oil super frequently. This is obviously a very high quality oil, but I think what we're going to do is, once the engine is out, there's a lot of mods I have to do to the oil pump and that, so we're going to take the head off anyway, take the front cover off, check the bearings. This is part of the race car life. It is another day, and so we just got to keep hacking away at this. I think what I need to do is maybe leave the oil line, because that's going to piss oil everywhere. I've got the cooling system off. We now need to start taking cables off, take the breather off, and yeah, I'll just keep going away at it. So I think where I will start, oil line, fuel line is probably the last thing I want to do. So we'll just take stuff off. Accelerator cable, let's loosen that, get that out of the way. We'll take the coils off, unplug the harness. There is an earth cable here. Take off the breather, loosen some cable ties, take out the coils. Oh yeah. Remove the injector plugs. And we're going to just keep unplugging things. Oil pressure, temperature sensor. Here's a cable tie holding the loom. So that loom is going to go there. Here's crank sensor, it's now unplugged. Oh, we've got water temperature. Some of these are super tricky to get off. Oil pressure light. So I've lifted up the car. We're going to now disconnect the exhaust. This is pretty much a step-by-step tutorial of how to take this car's engine out. So many steps to this process. How many times have I taken this engine out? Unbelievable amount of times. I think what we have to do is just strap this exhaust up. This is why it sucks to work on other people's cars, because it just takes so freaking long. Everything takes long. You know, if you want to maintain quality. Let's loosen the steering. Now we're going to battle with the starter. We are already battling with the starter, if you haven't noticed. The nice thing is this car actually has a lot of access, which is great. Compared to that other motor I was battling with the M42B21 in an E36. It just never goes to plan. Always an extension away from where you need to be. Okay, why are we doing this? Why are we taking the engine out? Well, we have to modify the front cover, we have to change the sump, have to change the side. I'm going to change the side alternator mounting bracket to work with the oil pump bracket, so might as well take the engine out. Seems logical. Also going to take the cylinder head off to make sure that nothing's damaged, also to get a proper seal, because this, when I changed the oil pump, didn't seal properly. So we've had so many joys with this setup, but hopefully once we go dry sump, That's the second time I've dropped that. Hopefully once we go dry sump we won't go back.
Many hours later.
Alright, so I had to go get some things at home, but Johannes took the engine out for me. So we've got it here. Nice. Now we're gonna loosen these bad boys. How many times has this thing been tightened? Too many. The old trick with the gearbox bolt into the block. There we go. Lock tight. We've got an aluminium one that we're gonna use in place of this. Really looking forward to that. Gonna save a good few kilograms. Alright, so after a lot of stuffing around, I finally got this engine mounting bracket on. And now we can lift and place the engine onto the stand. Sheesh! Don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Loading an engine. There we go. So looking at this oil pump housing and water housing and everything else, this is how it would normally sit in the car with the front cover on it like that, right? So this is where the timing chain sits, and at the back of this cover on the M44, M42, you have a circular cover here which covers the oil pump gears, which we went over in a previous episode. And the way that works is the oil pump spins with the crankshaft, and it basically sucks up oil through the pickup tube, which scavenges into this line. So by it rotating, it basically sucks oil up and compresses it and then pushes it through this section of this housing, and it comes through this hole. It then goes up through comes through this hole, then goes up through the oil filter and into this hole, this section, which actually has a non-return valve in it. So it's one way only, and then from there it goes into the engine and distributes through this section here and this line here. So these two holes kind of, and over here you've got a spray nozzle for the chain. So so this is your main feed line and this line here. What we're going to do with the dry sump system is we're no longer going to have this pump in here. So all we're going to do is I'm going to open it up, take the pump gears out, and then put this cover back on, and so it will then just spin inside here. There won't be anything happening inside here. I'm also going to take out this non-return valve because that's not necessary. The pump has its own non-return valve. What I will do is machine up something, a bush that's just going to fit in there, or I could just leave the non-return valve in. Then over here there's going to be no more oil oil feed from the pump, because the oil feed is going to be coming directly into here from the high pressure oil pump, and it comes into here, into the engine after it has gone through the oil cooler and through the oil filter. So it's already filtered and it's already cooled oil that goes into into the engine feed. So we are no longer going to be using this whole section. So I have a fitting over here which I can blank off now, and we're no longer going to be using any of this. It's just that this cover will be on, and yeah, none of this is actually going to make any difference. I can probably just close this up and it'll be fine. So that's kind of what we're going to do, and then the oil pressure, like I say, will be fed through here directly from the high pressure pump, the external pump, into the oil galleries in the engine. What does that main oil gallery look like? Well, this is that main oil gallery that goes straight into the block and feeds the crankshaft, and then also goes up into the head. And you can see how it comes round from the side and feeds into the block there. So that means that this whole setup is going to change, like I said. So this is the high pressure feed that will come from the oil cooler and the filter, the remote filter, but you can't see the line. But on the back of this block, there is this line, which is behind this bracket. Now that line is the line that's coming out the side of the casing that we're not going to need anymore. So I'm just going to put a blank in there, blank it off, or might even just cut it off and seal it up. And so because this is the feed from the pump, this line, so this line is now going to be redundant. The feed from the pump is going to come from this side, as we've discussed many times, and it'll go straight into the filter, through the cooler, and then up into here, into this line, which basically has, that's why it has the oil pressure. Come on. That's why it has the oil pressure temperature sensor on it. So that's what's going to change there, and like I said, the pump is going to sit down here so that it can run off the belt over there. So we're going to change this whole bracket so that the brackets can work together, and then we'll make a new pulley and all of that good stuff. And then obviously the pump will suck from the two scavenge sections in the dry sump. So that's going to be a wrap for this episode. I didn't get to stripping this thing, but I kind of showed you what we're going to do on that old stuff that I have lying around. So we're really busy on this car, and we've had quite a bit of tough times with that car. We're battling to get the clutch to engage properly, so taking the gearbox out for the second time on that thing. It's just been a really hectic week with a lot of different things happening. So anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this episode. We'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.